true if you had more understanding about, you know, what your home is and does and cared. Now, creating that caring is difficult. It's on to me. Creating that caring is difficult, but I think it's important to do. And one of the things that I'll say, and technologies can be very helpful in this. I don't know if you're familiar with the eViz project. So it's a project that was down at Plymouth, which was looking at energy feedback in different ways. One of the things they had was thermography possibility. And people were not so excited about looking at different, you know, does the feedback look like a lighthouse or does it look like a forest? Blah, blah. They didn't really care about that. But the opportunity to see their house in infrared was really exciting. And then there's a whole business around like who interprets the image and so forth. For me, the fact that that was oversubscribed was really exciting, because it's not, you're not creating caring in other people. It's something that was there that activated. And that's the thing which I think we need to seize when it occurs. And you never really know when that's going to happen. But I think, so visual imagery is important. But I do think that like being able to be Superman and see your house in infrared is exciting. And then that's the learning part that can come from that. And we don't know how far it would go. But I think it's that thing that we're looking for, that kind of engagement, like, oh, that's cool.
I think this might have to be our last question.
Just to give you a follow-up, yes,
Yeah,
please.
just to follow up, you said something, your last sentence was how far. How about how soon? Do you think the learning should be for the adults who have used the house and try to teach them now how to change? Or do you see effectiveness in picking up the elementary students and introducing a sort of new subject that makes them responsible?
I think the elementary school stuff is already happening. I think then the expectation is that that's going to then filter back to the parents. I think that does happen to a certain extent, but I also think that our educational system does not follow through on that, because then you cede the information to experts. And so it's you guys and not the rest of the school who is then responsible for this problem. And that's why I'm saying it's not necessarily just an individual problem. I think it's also an institutional one. And again, it's not just academic about learning. It is an institutional one. If we had laws that said people needed to pass a basic test before they could buy a house, I'm just saying, like, that would be deeply unpopular. But but there are ways in which you can conceive of how we could shift the system that would actually have different impacts, and that's where I'm trying to push, rather than saying, you know, there's different ways in which that learning could happen. There's training centers. Some colleagues of mine talked about how there's tremendous amount of money put into training people to play soccer, football, right? And the institutions around all that, and the sports, whatever, and they imagined what it would be if that was sort of an environmental or sustainability thing. And again, it's the way our society is organized, and what if we organized it a little bit differently? Not that that has to happen fully, but if it could happen a bit, then we might get a little bit more, you know, movement in the system in some ways that we're trying to push just by saying, you know, it's a free lunch you're paid to eat, buy this light bulb. So.
Well, thank you, Katie.
Thank you very much.
That was wonderful responses to some very, very interesting questions. Can we just give Katie one round of applause?